Hey guys, how you doing? Yes, this is another car video. This seems to be the only time I can find to make these vlogs. This month has been absolutely crazy. And we had the 5 grappling tournament last weekend. This weekend we have EBI 4, and at the end of the month we have ADCC. So those are the 3 events that we're doing live broadcasts for, and you know, a lot of people don't think about how much work actually goes into that, but we have a whole crew of guys that spend a lot of time making sure that everything's done right. You know, the last thing that we want is to have any problems. You know, we have a good reputation for putting on solid live broadcasts, and we want to keep it that way. So EBI 4 this weekend is going to be so exciting. If you haven't seen EBI 3, there's really no reason not to. It's free on YouTube right now. And, you know, that event, it blew me away. Eddie Bravo explained to me the rule set before the event, and to be honest, I didn't really understand it. It's kind of hard to understand in words, but when you watch it play out, it's brilliant. And I say that because everybody gets what they want, which is the submission. Every single match at EBI 3 ended in submission. So it became very clear. I mean, it's very let me put it this way: it's very fulfilling when you see a guy tap. The spectator feels that the better man won, and that's something that you don't get with a referee decision, and you don't get with points. Not to say that I don't enjoy point tournaments, because I do, but EBI is a super exciting event, and I'm not just saying that because we're doing the broadcast. It really is exciting. Eddie does a good job of picking the guys, and it's not always the world's best guys, but you know what? That's okay. That means that we're going to see some submissions. You know, some of the biggest critics of IBJJF finals say that it's boring because nothing happens. But you know what? That's sometimes what happens when you have 2 of the world's best guys facing off against each other. They're both so talented that it's just so hard to catch a super high level guy like that in a submission. So sometimes having guys that aren't quite as experienced face off against guys that are makes for really fun matches. But there are some tough guys at EBI. You know, Barrett Yoshida, been an old school veteran of the sport. Eddie Cummings, you know, relatively new guy who's a student of John Danaher, so you know he's got his leg locks down. And Gio Martinez, who was on a recent episode of This Week in BJJ, and you know, he's one of Eddie Bravo's top relatively new black belts. And you know, I'm not going through all the list of all the guys, but oh yeah, Joao Miao, can't forget him. It'll be real exciting to see how he does in that format. You know, I think what we learned at the 5 grappling event is that Joao cannot be heel hooked. So if he meets up against Eddie Cummings, you know, Gary couldn't submit him, so can Eddie? I don't think Eddie can submit him with a leg lock. Or put it this way, I don't think Joao is going to tap. So maybe Eddie goes for the neck. Maybe Joao's Barambolos are going to be too good for Eddie. But you know that Eddie Cummings and Gary Tonin have strategized for when Gary fought Joao. So I think Eddie has been privy to all of the Barambolo counters that Gary Tonin showed off at the 5 tournament. So anyway, it's going to be a super exciting event, and I hope you guys are all there to watch it. There's nothing like watching it live. Yes, there will be a replay, but man, just being there live when there's no spoilers, you can't go to any forums and find out who won. When you're watching it live, there's just a different level of energy and of excitement, and you just got to be there. It's not expensive. You know, it's $20, way cheaper than a UFC. And you know, this is how Eddie Bravo gets us going. You know, he needs the audience to support the event. I think Eddie Bravo has done a great job of keeping this going. He's on the 4th installment, and I hope you guys support it as well. BudoVideos.com/EBI4 is the URL. for the event. So anyway, yeah, just been so busy working on the getting all these live events lined up. And today on This Week in BJJ, we filmed an episode with Flavio Bearing, who is a red belt, and this is my first episode with a red belt, so that was amazing. You know, anytime someone with the experience of a red belt comes to your town, you should do what you can to go to the seminar or class, because you just can't match that level of experience. Flavio has been training for 70 years, almost 70 or 68 years. That's crazy. Some of you guys watching right now might only been training for a few months or a couple years, you know. But anybody is going to get a lot of knowledge just being in the same room of somebody that's been in the sport, the art, for that long. So I had a really good time talking to Flavio, and that episode will come out shortly. You know, This Week in BJJ is not always released the same day it's filmed. Sometimes it's 1 week, sometimes it's 2 or 3 weeks later, but that one will be coming out soon. And again, the first time with a red belt, that was mind-blowing. I can only hope that I can get some more red belts on the show in the future, because you know what? The young guys are the ones winning the tournaments, but we got to respect the old generation. You know, they were the ones that paved the way. They are the ones that, you know, at least in Flavio's case, almost all of red belt's case, those were the guys that fought Vale Tudo, empty hand matches to protect the art, to build up the art. You know, so those guys, without those guys, BJJ would not be what it is today. Those guys had to deal with challenge matches from guys from all over, judo guys, from lucha libre guys, wrestlers. So it's just amazing, some of the stories that Flavio had to tell, and I think you guys are going to enjoy that one. Afterwards, in the technique portion, he taught some concepts of applying pressure, which I can tell you, of all of the guys that have been training for decades and decades and decades, one of the main characteristics is they have the pressure game down. You know, as people age, generally they don't move quite as fluidly as before, so they move a little slower, and they have to learn how to use pressure. And as Flavio points out, pressure does not mean weight. So just because you're a small guy doesn't mean you can't develop strong pressure. Just because you're a big guy doesn't mean you have good pressure already. So I think you'll enjoy the tips that Flavio shows on that. So yeah, you know, this thing that I'm trying to do every week here, this vlog, is just to give you an inside look of some of the stuff that's going on in my life and in Buddha videos. So again, just, you know, busy with the live events. I hope you guys all join us and support those events, because we really enjoy bringing them to you. New episodes of This Week in BJJ coming out. Again, Flavio Bearing. Also have one with Tim Sled. Tim's a guy that is working with Atos. He had his own school in Indiana. Now he's running Atos Oceanside. So did an episode with him recently. That was a blast. And we have a few other episodes lined up. So we're going to try to keep the show as regular to once a week as we can. So thank you guys for watching, and you know, I hope you guys are enjoying your training. I definitely am. That's where I'm going now. And you know, one thing I hear from guys once in a while is that they're bored of training, or they're complaining about this or complaining about that, or they're not getting something that they want. And I think it's easy in this day and age. You know, we show you all these videos of some of the best guys in the world teaching, and maybe you go to your school and it doesn't feel as good as some of the teaching that you're seeing on our shows. But you know, it doesn't matter. I just want to tell you that it doesn't matter where you're training. You know, any place can be great. And a lot of really talented guys did not start out at amazing schools. A lot of the training you have to do by yourself. Your teacher can only show you so much. At some point, you have to take charge of your own learning, and you know, think about it. Think about what you really want to learn. if you're not getting what you want, yeah, maybe you need to leave the academy. Maybe you need to leave, find somewhere else. Maybe you need to move across country if jiu-jitsu is that important to you. Or maybe it's just moving across town. But, you know, I think you should all ask yourselves, what do you want out of your training? And if you're not getting it, find a way to get it. It's not always possible. Some guys are busy with a particular job or relationship or family that you're stuck and you might only have one training option. But you know what? You can accomplish a lot by yourselves. There's so many resources out there for learning. You can just make a friend, you know, find a training partner and work on the things that you want to work on. I know that my jiu-jitsu level shot up quite a bit when I started drilling on my own with Budo Dane. You know, we started meeting every Sunday. This was maybe 3 years ago. Every Sunday we started to meet and we just go over a particular position over and over and over again. And you know what? You get better at it when you go over it over and over again. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're not happy with your situation, don't blame your instructor. You know, look inside yourself and find out what you need to do to improve it. Because oftentimes that's the answer, in my experience. And training should be something you enjoy. You know, out of all the guys I talk to, one main component is the ones that are the best at it are the ones that enjoy it. If you're doing it out of a sense of responsibility, then you might get tired of it. But if you can keep it fun, then you'll look forward to training, you'll enjoy the training, and you'll get better. So guys, I'm going to end it here. Just want you guys to stay motivated, enjoy your training, and you know, if you see me at a tournament coming up, please stop and say hi. I'm never too busy to exchange a quick hello with anybody, and I thank you guys for watching, because if you guys weren't watching, then I would have nobody to talk to. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks again for watching, and keep on rolling.